Welcome back everybody to the daily racing show here at RacePlazaMedia. Today is Wednesday, so that means we're going to take a look at one of my iRacing races. So let's get right into it. So here we are at the Okayama International Circuit. As you guys can see, I qualified in P3, which I was surprised at because I don't think my qualifying time was that good. I thought I would qualify a little bit further at the back. I think the iRating for this race was about 1200, so not very high. I'm still obviously in the rookie leagues, but here we are. My idea going into the race, as always, was keep the incidences to a minimum, but I was not able to do that whatsoever. I even lost safety rating after the end of the race, which is not cool. I need to do a lot better with that. I have too many incidences per race, but yeah, let's just take a look at it. Once again, actually, my start is really, really good. I'm able to jump P1 and P2 here and take off of them, or off in front of them. However, I do have P2 has the preferred racing line on both corners. So, and I'm trying to stay as far left as possible because here actually we get quite close together, because I was, afraid of getting hit and also hitting someone. You guys know this is a common theme in all of my iRacing videos so far, that I keep getting into trouble. A lot of times, it's just everyone's fault. Sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's just a racing incident. But yeah, so I really wanted to stay out of trouble this race, but that didn't work. I ended the race with like 10 incidences, so very bad. Here I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to take the inside line. I might brake a little bit later, and I'm just gonna try to be in there, and then this happens. So let's pause this real quick. Let's go back so you guys can see right here, right? So I'm taking the inside line, and then he's kind of cutting in there very, very hard, and I am drifting out. So I'm kind of taking for me, the normal racing line, and I'm sure for him, the normal racing line. I think on my end, the best way I could have avoided this to slow down the car even further and take a even closer right inside line instead of letting it drift out so far. However, this is rich coming from me, because the same situation happened last week in last week's video, and I complained up a storm that this guy, what the hell was he thinking, taking the inside line, blah 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 blah. And now look at me doing this shit. So not cool. But now that I'm on the other end of this, it is, he should have probably stayed out a little bit further, because he does cut in quite a lot, pretending almost that I'm not there. So it's easy for me to say that now, considering that I didn't face the consequences of that. I didn't spin out. I ended up spinning out here. You guys can see the right back wheel ended up touching the gravel, and I was already a little bit fast around the corner, but I was like, okay, just focus, keep your head down, don't try to get in too much trouble. The orange car is closing up on me, but I ended up carrying much more speed through that corner, and I was like, okay, I'm in P4. This is the first lap of the race. There's plenty of time for me to make up. I also know that I can lap this, not crazy fast, but fast enough to potentially catch the guy in front of me, because sometimes you can definitely gauge, especially in a rookie league, if you're lapping faster than the other person, not only because you're making up time to them, but also just based alone on their racing line. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking these corners much closer, clearly not this one, right? But or I'm like making up a lot more time through that corner, so I'm like motivated to just try to keep it as clean as possible and try to make up to this guy in the front. I will also say, which I was very, very excited and also a little bit proud of, that I ended up getting the fastest lap of the race. My fastest lap of the race, I believe, was a 152.05 or 02 or something like that. So clearly not the fastest. Like, I'm still 2 seconds off of like what like the super crazy fast people do, but I shaved off almost a second of my lap time within like 2 days at that point, or maybe even one day. So I was very, very happy about that. Especially this corner right here. I took like 40 minutes to an hour and I practiced it over and over and over again. I kept resetting it in test drive just so I could nail it down, because I was like, if I can at least, I think this is the corner that's costing me the most amount of time. And if I can, you know, just get it down, I could make up a lot of time. And it, yeah, I think it made up like almost, you know, a second in my lap times. This guy obviously making a mistake here and me carrying much more speed through that. And what a nice overtake right there. We are getting a little bit close together, but that door on the left side was closed, and then I'm kind of taking off here. I think I hit that corner quite a lot better, even though I'm drifting here. I am making it quite far out, but that you are allowed to take it out that far. I think I could have actually left it a little bit longer on the green there. But yeah, and now I am in P3. Very exciting. I think at this point my heart rate is increasing. Every time I'm on the podium, my heart rate just slowly increases over time. And I'm like, stay cool, stay cool, stay cool. Just don't think about thinking about it. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, or maybe you guys used to get like a little bit nervous about making mistakes and stuff like that. Because obviously if you're not like crazy good at this, any podium is, you know, or any even just a sniff of the podium is exciting. So here the good thing is, for once I'm actually close enough to maybe catch a little bit of slipstream to the person ahead. Usually I'm the one that's getting caught, so it's usually a lot more stressful for me. So it's kind of nice. And then he ends up braking much harder into this corner than I expected, so I ended up messing up way my exit, and then this next unfortunate point of events is happening, and then I get caught here. So I want to pause this real quick. And now people are probably going to be like, why the hell did you brake there? Because if you guys can see, usually this corner you don't have to hit the brakes whatsoever. You can just lift and then kind of throttle control or feather your throttle, and then you can make it through this corner. However, if you guys can see it, I ended up feeling like I was losing the back. There's like this slight twitch, and I thought on the steering wheel it felt like I was about to like spin again. So I think either I completely lifted off or I just tapped the brakes, and then because he had such a sharp angle, he caught my right rear tire and spun out, which of course not good. I would say this is more a racing incident, even though yes, you shouldn't be going on your brakes or it's unnatural there. It was obviously not intentional. It did feel like I was losing my back, and you know, I wasn't trying to like brake check anyone, considering he also came around the corner. So yeah, so I just want to clarify that. Anyway, so I'm still in P3. And how did I take this corner? Yeah, not bad. Now I'm able to also catch a little bit of slipstream on this straight. This straight right here, that's actually the one I'm still practicing as of this moment. As you guys can see, I very much struggle with finding the right, or I have a hard time finding the apex. Usually I apex too early, and then my exit is just all messed up, and I don't either have enough speed or I draft out way too wide past the red and white lane. So definitely a corner I'm still practicing. However, this corner right here, I believe both times I've now had a better exit than he did, and now I'm much closer. Also, that means I'm getting way more slipstream. I already upshifted into fourth gear. Usually that little sign is my indicator, and then here I was like, okay, if you're gonna leave me the left side, I will take the left side lane, you know? And then he ended up braking much more than I expected him, so I just ended up taking the corner normally. I was checking my mirrors, but I was like, okay, if you're braking this early, I don't have to worry about going on around the outside. However, it could also be that he was just driving very defensively and was just like, this guy's gonna send it and I'm gonna get clipped. That could also be the case, that he maybe didn't trust me, but either way, it kind of worked out for me. Then we are, let's take a look at this. We're in lap 4, so we have 3 more laps to go. I think 7th lap is the last lap on this track, considering the length of it. Yeah, I think that was okay. I don't think I carried that much speed through the corner there. So at this point, I'm in P2. I'm also already freaking out. I'm like, ooh, I could make P2. That is the best placement I've had in any iRacing race so far. So if I can take home P2, that would be perfect. However, I do see P1 in front of me, and I also know that I am lapping much faster than he is. And I say much faster, but I think I was lapping maybe like half a second faster than he is, or maybe 0.3 seconds, 0.3 of a second, so 300ths. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm struggling to explain this to you guys. This is more me, it's not you guys. You clearly understand what I'm trying to tell you guys. But I see this guy and I'm like, okay, maybe if he makes a mistake, because while I am lapping faster, the race is also ending in 3 laps times, or here it's like 2.5 laps at this point, right? So even though I'm lapping faster, I'm not lapping fast enough to catch P1 before the end of the race. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I I wish misfortune on P1. You know, if you could make a little braking mistake or something like that, I would appreciate it. However, the big difference also between P1 and P2 is, or between me and P1, is that P1 had at the end of the race 0 racing incidents. So even though I passed him at the very beginning of the race, and then there's obviously always a lot going on, he or she did not have any type of incidents with other racers, never went off track, never lost control of the car. So that's the main difference. And so I was hoping on something that would most likely never happen. We have this person who just got out of the pits. I am assuming that they crashed at some point. Very unfortunate. However, I was also a little bit afraid, because I know even though they have the blue flag, I've heard that people sometimes still want to battle and race. I've never been in the position where I was lapping someone, but this person was just having a very bad race. So they ended up just spinning out, which you have to be very careful when you come out of the pits with new tires. Especially on this track, very likely to spin out. Has happened to me many times. That's why I know. And yeah, so I was happy that, I mean, I wasn't happy that they spun out, but I was happy that I was able to just pass them very easily. Also considering that I have only ever been shown a blue flag. I've never been a person who was actually benefiting, I guess, from the blue flag. So that was nice. And it's also nice that it went quite well. Took that one actually quite well, even though I do dabble with the grass there. I carried a lot of speed through this corner. This corner right here, I was taking a different approach through this. I'm not supposed to take it this wide actually, but I am still very much trying to figure out what the best racing line is for me going into this corner, because what I didn't realize is the racing guideline or track video or track guide that I watched for this race in specific is a year old, and apparently this season iRacing has updated the curbs, so not everything applies still to those track guides from a year ago. So I didn't realize that. Someone told me that. So if you're not aware of that, just keep that in mind, that the racing line or the way some corners are taken have changed a little bit since then. So, and now we are in, let's see right here, we're in lap 7, so this should be the last lap of the race. I can see P1 still in front of me, but at this point I'm like, okay, I'm not catching this person unless they're making a mistake. All I'm thinking is just bring it home safely. I knew that there's a guy behind me. I think we can turn around the camera. and I knew that this guy was there because I obviously can see him in my mirrors when I'm racing. But I was also like, there's no way that he's faster through this set of corners because he hasn't caught me in the last couple of laps. I can, yeah, and I took this corner actually quite well. I'm very happy about that. So, however, my heart rate is going up even more, and I'm starting to like freak out a little bit. So I am not taking. There you go. I'm going off almost a little bit. So not very good. I'm making a few more mistakes here. So very very bad. And here, this is my big mistake, taking this corner really awkwardly, touching the grass, collecting another incident point. Very, very good. And then here I was like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. There's no way you're not gonna catch me. I'm just gonna take this corner as pretty as possible. And yeah, taking it very, very tight. Probably didn't have to take it as slow, but I guess I was just worried about maybe spinning out or whatever. And there we have a checkered flag. It is the end of the race, and I got P2, guys. P2, my best race result thus far. However, I didn't want to show this race because I remember having a lot of racing incidences. Obviously, I lost safety rating, and I mean, I think no matter how I want to twist it and turn it, I'm definitely at least half at fault, if not completely responsible for some of those incidences, especially the big ones, and that's not cool. I have an idea of what I want to do to hopefully build up my safety rating. I don't know if it will work, but I will most definitely try, and then hopefully next week we will see the fruits of my hard labor. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Get in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought about my racing. Just keep in mind, be nice. I'm open to critiques. Just be nice about it, you know? And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we have on the channel everything that you can watch this upcoming weekend racing related. So don't miss that. And then as always, like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll be seeing you guys here tomorrow at the Daily Racing Show.